Everyone thinks the GPD Win Max 2 is the ultimate do-everything handheld gaming PC. But here's the thing. If you buy it like it's just a beefed-up Steam Deck, you're probably going to hate it. Because this isn't really a handheld console. It's a tiny workstation that moonlights as a gaming beast. And those expectations totally change whether this is a dream purchase or a $1,000 regret. I spent the last 3 weeks using the Win Max 2 as my daily driver. Gaming, remote work, travel, and even some video editing. And what I found is that there are a few very specific things you need to know before you click that buy button. Before we dive into what I discovered putting this thing through way too many late-night test sessions, quick heads up. If you're already kind of sold and just want the best current price, I dropped my affiliate link down in the description. But seriously, stick around, because a couple of the quirks I uncovered are deal makers for some people and total deal breakers for others. So, why did I even grab the GPD Win Max 2 in the first place? I was bouncing between a Steam Deck for gaming, a thin and light laptop for work, and constantly wishing I didn't have to carry both. I wanted one machine that could play modern PC games, handle emulation, run real Windows apps, and still fit in a small bag. In the past, every so-called handheld PC I tried failed in one of 3 ways. Either the controls were garbage, the screen was tiny and cramped, or the performance tanked the moment you unplugged from the wall. I went into the Win Max 2 skeptical. Yes, on paper it looks insane. A 10.1-inch 2560 by 1600 display, Ryzen 7 6800U or 7840U, up to 32 or even 64 gigs of LPDDR5 RAM, fast NVMe SSD, full keyboard, built-in controllers, USB 4 for eGPU, huge 67-watt-hour battery. It sounds too good to be true. I wanted to see if this thing could actually replace my laptop and my handheld, or if it was just another expensive compromise. First thing I tested was pure handheld gaming. I loaded up Cyberpunk 2077, Elden Ring, and Forza Horizon 5. Running the Ryzen 7 6800U at around 25 watts, 800p to 1200p with FSR on, I was seeing roughly 40 to 60 FPS in most AAA titles using tuned medium settings. That's powerful, noticeably above Steam Deck levels. Emulation was almost comical. Everything up through PS3, Switch, and even some early PS4 titles felt smooth once I dialed in settings. But then here's where reality hits. This thing weighs around a kilo. After 30 to 40 minutes of holding it like a Switch, your wrists feel it. The built-in controllers are good Hall effect sticks, nice triggers, but this is not a couch lounging, one hand on the armrest kind of device for long sessions. It wants to sit on a lap or a desk. Next, I used it as an ultra-portable laptop. I wrote scripts, replied to emails, and did light photo work. The keyboard is actually usable way better than most mini laptops, but the keys are still cramped, and the touchpad placement under the spacebar takes getting used to. On the flip side, that 10.1-inch 1610 2.5K display is gorgeous for productivity. Text is sharp, color is solid, and having that much resolution on such a small screen makes spreadsheets and timelines feel less claustrophobic. But then I started pushing it harder. 4K video playback, a bit of 1080p H.264 editing in DaVinci Resolve, multiple Chrome tabs, Discord running in the background. Performance-wise, the 6800U 7840U handled it. Fans spun up, temps hovered in the 80s under load, but I could actually edit short videos on a device that technically fits in a sling bag. The compromise, fan noise. When this thing is under sustained load, you will hear it. Not jet engine loud, but definitely noticeable in a quiet room. After that, I tested battery life because that's where a lot of handheld PCs crumble. At 25 watts gaming, I was getting about 2 to 2.5 hours in demanding AAA titles. Drop the TDP to around 15 watts, lower the resolution to 800p, and suddenly you're around 3.5 to 4 hours on less demanding games or emulation. For pure productivity, Wi-Fi on, brightness at about 60%, writing and browsing, I was seeing 7 to 9 hours. That's actually laptop-level endurance for work, but let's be real. If you buy this for heavy gaming, you are bringing the charger. Then I tried the wild card, using the USB 4 or Akku link on newer models with an external GPU. Hooked up to an eGPU, the Win Max 2 turned into a legit desktop replacement. That little Ryzen chip feeding a desktop GPU gave me full 1080p or 1440p high refresh gaming on an external monitor, while still being able to unplug and take my games on the go. But here's where it gets interesting. Once you start docking it, using external controllers, and parking it on a stand, you realize this isn't really competing with a Steam Deck or ROG Ally. It's competing with a thin and light laptop. The most surprising discovery for me was this. The GPD Win Max 2 is actually better as a tiny, modular workstation than it is as a pure handheld console. I spent hours tweaking power profiles, fan curves, and in-game settings, and the more I used it, the more it felt like a shrunken gaming ultrabook that just happens to have built-in controllers for when you want them. That matters because it reframes the price. When you compare it to a Steam Deck, it feels expensive. When you compare it to a premium 13-inch laptop plus a separate handheld, it suddenly makes more sense. Versus ROG Ally or Legion Go, the screen and keyboard on the Win Max 2 absolutely win for productivity. And USB 4 plus Akku link support gives it a huge edge if you care about external GPUs. But no, it is not magic. It is not pocketable. The software still needs some tinkering. You'll spend time in Windows settings, TDP tools, and game launchers. If you want a plug-and-play, console-like experience, this will frustrate you. The Win Max 2 shines if you are the kind of person who enjoys dialing things in and squeezing every bit of value out of a single, highly flexible device. Now that you know it is more of a mini workstation than a toy handheld, the next step is simple. If that sounds like exactly what you need, you probably want to grab it before the current batch and pricing shift again. I dropped my affiliate link down below with the best current deals I could find, so check that before you buy anywhere else. Bottom line, the GPD Win Max 2 is not for everyone. If you just want a game on the couch for cheap, get a Steam Deck. If you want maxed out performance and do not care about typing or work, devices like the ROG Ally might fit better. But if you're a student, a creator, a traveler, or a power user who wants one machine that can go from handheld gaming to serious productivity to full desktop with an eGPU, this thing is kind of in a league of its own. Know what it is, know what it is not, and it can replace a laptop and a handheld in one shot. The real takeaway, don't buy the Win Max 2 as a toy. Buy it as a tiny, overpowered toolbox.